exciting and new. Come aboard, we're expecting you. It's love. Welcome aboard, it's love.
I was in the grocery store getting ready to check out, and I spotted this Star magazine, which I had never read. It said, "Write your own love story and perhaps win a trip on the Love Boat."
Vernie brought the magazine home. She suggested that I write our love story. Wrote one draft. It was too long. I gave the second draft to Vernie, and she read it, and she made some suggestions, and so we sent it in. It worked good.
The phone rang one afternoon, and when I answered, they said, "Congratulations, you just won the Love Boat contest." You know, I don't even remember if I hung up the phone or what, but I ran up the stairs and I said, "Wally, you won, you won." And the kids came from different parts of the house, and we were jumping up and down, and it was just absolutely wonderful. And I don't know what happened to that person on the telephone. But obviously they got back in touch with us, and they said they would send out photographers to take our pictures, which they did. And we had many people all over our house putting up lights and cameras and going into our closet and picking out the clothes we should wear. And they took picture after picture. It was just absolutely fantastic. And then we were told that they wanted us to go to New York to do a commercial.
Her Dallas friends were missing when she headed down the aisle.
Find out about Charlene Tilton's oddball wedding in this week's Star magazine.
And it's Barbara Mandrell, recovered from her car crash, to tell of the premonition that saved her family.
Discover America's most touching love story.
Love brought our families together.
You can read our story in the Star.
Plus, Barbara Belgetti's $1 million deal to return to Dallas.
And a sneak preview of Dynasty's royal wedding.
There's more for you in this week's Star magazine.
Our love boat was actually the Vista Fjord. It was a Cunard Line liner. We were told it was the only 5-star ship sailing at the time. Malcolm Abrams, the managing editor of the Star magazine, accompanied us. He was terrific. He accompanied us on the entire trip and saw to our needs when we went and made the commercial in New York. A real fine fellow. He noticed this big envelope, big white envelope with a red first class on it, and he thought, I think I'll read that one. And he took that into his office, and after reading, he put it aside and said, "Well, if nobody comes up with something better, we got a winner." Yeah, Genoa was neat because at the time I was writing a novel about Christopher Columbus's second voyage of discovery, and Genoa was the city in which he was born. Anyway, I saw some Italian young men standing on a corner, and not knowing Italian, I spoke in Spanish and asked him, "Donde está la casa de Colombo?" And they went like this to me, and I wasn't sure exactly what that signified at the time. But then I looked up, and here, right above me, was a sign that says, "Casa de Colombo." I was standing right in front of the house. So we did find it. It was all barred up and you couldn't go into it or anything like that, but we did find it.
We had such a wonderful time with all the actors and actresses that we had spent 2 weeks with, that we decided we wanted to throw a little farewell party for them. And we talked to, who did we talk to?
The head steward.
Who said he could set us up with drinks and hors d'oeuvres and even a little band
Yeah, we had
in the ballroom area. And so I went to the gift shop and I bought invitations and wrote out invitations for everybody and slipped them under their doors, and they all agreed to come.
important part of this trip was related to the fact that Vernie had been writing to a pen pal in Scotland for about 30 years or more. And she, of course, told her friend Sheila Cowie, that we had won this trip and that we would be traveling around Europe and might be getting close to Scotland. Sheila called up the Star group and talked to Malcolm and asking for the itinerary. And Malcolm thought about it for a short moment and said, what we're going to do is we're going to fly you down to Guernsey and put you up at the Royal Hotel, and we'll surprise Vernie when she gets there. And in fact, that's what they did.
And so when we got off the little boat that took us from the big boat to land, there was George and Sheila with the Star magazine in her hand. But I didn't know that was them because I had never seen them before. And she said, "May I have your autograph?" And I turned to Wally and I said, "I can't believe it. We're in England and they're asking for our autograph." And then I heard Wally say, "Hi, George, I'm Wally." And I thought, oh, I should probably introduce myself. And then I thought, wait a minute, they know who we are. And then George, I said, "Sheila?" And I started crying and we started hugging. And of course, our photographer was there snapping pictures away. As exciting as it was for me to meet my pen pal and her husband, I think the most exciting thing for Wally was to go to his mother's hometown in Germany and see where she lived as a little girl.
My sister Liz called up or wrote to Gretel and told him we were going to be in Hamburg. Gretel is the daughter of my mother's friend. And she found us at the Vier Jahreszeiten, or the Four Seasons Hotel in Hamburg. And then we went in search of my mother's home, which was on a little island in the Elbe River called Finkenberg. And we found the island without any trouble, and Gretel, amusing, she slipped into the local dialect, which is called Plattdeutsch or Low German. And she was talking to a man we found walking along the street and said, "Do you know where Frida Hartmann might have lived?" And he said, "When did she leave the island?" And Gretel said, "Probably around 1923. And he said, "Oh, man, I wasn't born until 1927, so I have no idea." But he said, "Wait a minute." And he turned around and walked a short distance and knocked on a door, and this white-haired woman came out of her house. It turned out her name was Anna Jasper, and she said, "Frida Hartmann, I went to school with Frida Hartmann," and she pointed to the upstairs room across the street and said, "That's Frida's bedroom over there." And I can just still hear her calling, Anna, come over here." And anyway, this gentleman took us across the street, and we met the woman of the house. We got a tour of a nice single home. Leaving Hamburg, Germany, we flew to Frankfurt, then on to New York, Cincinnati, and finally got back to Milwaukee.
Promise is something for everyone. Set a course for adventure. Your